Tony was born to my daughter, who was 15 when she had Tony. For most of his child life, he was taken care of by principal adults other than his biological mom and dad, because they were teenage kids and really didn't know how to be parents. So Tony, by virtue of that, experienced a lot of frustration and anger throughout his childhood. And at the point that we all determined it would be best for him to come and live with me in San Diego, the cause for anger in Tony really developed full-blown because he had witnessed one of his favorite cousins being murdered at the hands of a rival gang. So that anger really was a central quality in his life throughout his childhood, and certainly into his teenage years. The anger just really developed.
Tony had fallen under the sway of the black mob street gang, and Tony had run away from home a day or two before this incident, and there was an apartment that one of the gang members lived in, and there was no adult supervision.
I was fearful. I was fearful for Tony, because I understand that when a kid runs away from home, especially a home where someone loves and cares for them, then usually they're going to wind up on the streets or engage in activities that are not going to be in their best interest.
Tariq Khamisa was shot and killed while delivering.
When I saw the news report about a pizza delivery man being murdered in North Park, a very bad foreboding feeling came over me. It was more than can be expressed. I didn't want to make the connection between Tony not being at home and this pizza delivery man being murdered, but the connection had already been made.
Prosecutors say Tony H., Hakeem D., and two others gathered at a North Park apartment, smoked marijuana, and ordered the pizza, which they tried to take from Khamisa without paying. Judge Fred Castro ruled the young suspect, whose face we've been ordered not to show, should be tried as an adult in the killing of 20-year-old Tariq Khamisa last January, when Khamisa tried to deliver a pizza. As the judge ruled, Tony H. cried and reached for a Kleenex. Today's ruling is the first in the county under the new California law that says juveniles aged 14 and older can be tried as an adult.
The evening before Tony was to enter into court for purposes of pleading, his attorney called me and said, "I think it's important that you talk with Tony. I think it's important that you help him understand what the ramifications are here." That evening I went to juvenile hall. They allowed for Tony and his attorney and I to sit in a room. But just after the attorney left the room and closed the door, Tony immediately dropped all of that bravado. He transformed immediately into the 8, 9-year-old kid I used to hold in my lap and read books to. And he came over and he just came over and he sat in my lap. And he just started crying. And he started bawling. And he started screaming about how sorry he was. He said, "Daddy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anybody. I'm so sorry for what I did. And I hope that Mr. Khamisa can forgive me for what I've done. I hope you can forgive me for what I've done. I'm so sorry." And I just consoled him. And I rocked him, and I held him, and I hugged him, and I consoled him. And I told him, "I understand. You know, I understand, son. I know you, and I know that you didn't want to hurt anybody." I said, "I love you, and I know you're going to make the right choice. And I know you're going to do what's right. You're going to do what's right for you and our family and the Khamisa family."
Tony's speech was amazing in the sense that he had thought a lot about what it meant to kill somebody. I remember people in the courtroom just sort of taking deep breaths and visualizing what he was talking about.
On January 21st, 1995, I shot and killed Tariq Khamisa, a person I didn't even know and who didn't do anything wrong to me. I wish I didn't have the type of life I had. I wish I had a relationship with my father. I think about the warnings that my grandfather gave me. Now I wish I had listened to my grandfather. At night when I'm alone, I cry and I beg God to let me out of here. Promise him that I would be a better person. I won't mess up. When I see my mom, I want to hold her as tight as I can and bring her, take her in her chair. I still don't know why I shot Tariq. I didn't really want to hurt him or anyone else. I'm sorry for killing Tariq and hurting his family. I'm sorry for the pain that I caused for Tariq's father, Mr. Khamisa. I pray to God every day that Mr. Khamisa will forgive me for what I've done. My grandfather promised me that he would be Mr. Khamisa's friend and help him in any way he can for the rest of his life. I'm very sorry for what I've done. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak.
Tony took responsibility for what he did. He indicated he really didn't want to hurt anybody. Don't know why he did. He asked the forgiveness of the Khamisa family, and Mr. Khamisa specifically. He indicated, based on our conversation, that I had told him that I would do all I could to support the Khamisa family and be Mr. Khamisa's friend for as long as I live, to support him and his family with their grief.